Toru is an ugly, worthless loser who finds himself being asked out by the ice spice of his school, but he rejects her. Later, he ends up in a situation where all the munches at his school are trying to get clapped by him, making the ice spice jealous. However, before any of this, Imari and Toru meet on their way to the hall on the first day at the academy and they become friends. In the hall, as they sit next to each other, the chair of the student council announces the entrance exam, which will be done with a partner, the one they are sitting next to. However, Imari and Toru aren't thrilled with the idea when they hear that they have to fight one another and the winner will be the one to get admitted into the academy. Toru tries to switch partners but isn't allowed to. The students activate their blaze, weapons appear, and they start fighting. As Toru watches the students fighting, he starts getting flashbacks. Imari activates her blaze after telling him that she has something to do so she can't stray from that path. When he refuses to activate his, she lunges at him to attack. He dodges again and blocks an attack that comes close to his head, giving him a taper fade. As he is talking her into accepting defeat, an axe flies towards them. Toru activates his blaze and uses the shield to block the attack. Imari is surprised that his blaze is a shield, prompting him to tell her that he is an irregular. She thanks him for saving her and attacks him. He blocks with his shield, causing her to lose grip of her sword. Then he delivers one Mike Tyson punch to her stomach, sending her flying to the ground. Sakuya announces that it's time out and that she prays they will reach absolute duo one day. After saying goodbye to Imari, Toru runs into Tora in the hallway and they're stoked to see each other after all these years. Tora fills him in on the crazy situation they're in. They've got Lucifer injected into them to tap into their blaze power, and Koryo Academy is basically a lab for Sakuya's experiments. They head to class where a girl with some serious curves walks in and plops down beside Toru, staring him down like he's some kind of puzzle. Their homeroom teacher Rito bursts in through the window, because why not, and gets them to introduce themselves. She explains the whole absolute duo thing where they're paired up with their partner, aka the person sitting next to them. Toru's not having it, but Rito's all, hey, you're rooming with Julie, so get used to it. Later that night, Dora kicks Toru out of his room and Toru's all hesitant to head to his own room, but he finally works up the courage and walks in, only to find Julie looking thick as if she's Ice Spice's sister, emerging from the bathroom in just a shirt, calling it her pajama. They sit down and chat, and Julie starts crawling towards him, asking about that sweet punch he threw earlier. She wants to learn it, but Toru's like, nah, it's too intense for you. Julie conks out and Toru carries her to bed because, well, someone's gotta take care of her. The next morning, Toru wakes up to find Julie snoozing beside him. At the cafe, they're joined by Miyabi and her partner for breakfast. Miyabi's partner raises an eyebrow about their sleeping arrangements, saying that even though it's not against the rules, it's still pretty weird for students of opposite genders to share a room since it's easier for them to start clapping each other. Julie, being a bop, shrugs it off, claiming she's cool with it, and then drops a bombshell. She says Toru is super nice to her and even tried showing his meat to her at night. The whole table goes silent, with Toru's face turning bright red. Later in class, their homeroom teacher Rito breaks the news. They need to level up pronto or they'll get kicked out of school. Then it's time for battle practice. In the gym, Tomo apologizes to Toru for misjudging him earlier, and then she and Julie go at it, with Tora and Toru watching in awe of their skills. As the girls wrap up their practice, they notice Tora and Toru going at it beside them, and they're all impressed by each other's abilities. Back in their room, Toru waits for Julie to get out of the bathroom so they can chill and have some tea. He asks her about her training, and she reveals she's self-taught. Julie compliments Tora and Toru on their skills, and Toru explains that they used to train together at the same dojo, which is why they're so in sync. As the day days go by, the students keep training, waiting for the day they can register for their permanent duo partners. He waits for Julie outside the gate, eager to catch up with her. When Toru walks by, he reminds him that he's counting on him for the upcoming duo registration day. Julie soon joins him and they stroll towards their room, taking in the beautiful cherry blossoms along the way. He also mentions his plans to find a new partner, just in case. The next day, as they're about to take the oath and become official partners with Toru, Tomo shows up with Miyabi in tow. He's wondering where Julie is and Tomo fills him in. Julie had been asked out by her but turned her down because she'd already decided to partner up with Miyabi instead. Feeling confused and a bit concerned, he leaves the registration center to search for Julie. After some searching, he finally finds her in a tower and he fills her in on what he's just learned. He asks her if she wants to make their duo permanent, and to his relief, she agrees. Together they take the oath, solidifying their partnership. Toru and Julie are putting in some serious training time in the forest, gearing up for the upcoming battle. Toru's not exactly thrilled about consistently getting beat by Julie, but hey, it's all part of the process, right? Later that day, Toru spots Miyabi collapsing on the field from exhaustion after pushing herself to the limit with all that running. He swoops in to save the day, carrying her on his back as he makes his way to the hostels. When Miyabi comes to, she's all like, "Hey, put me down." But Toru's all, "Nah, I got this." Eventually, she calms down and explains that she's been trying to improve her physique. Toru gives her some solid advice, telling her that it's great she's motivated, but she shouldn't overdo it. Fast forward to the day of the blade battle, and all the duos are in position ready to go. Julie and Toru's strategy is simple: take out anyone who gets in their way. The battle begins and they ignite their blaze. They charge into the forest, ready to take on all comers. The first duo they encounter is a girl wielding a hammer like she's Thor, but Toru's got her covered with his shield. Meanwhile, Julie takes down the girl's partner and they score their first win. They keep dominating every duo they face, racking up win after win. An hour in, they decide to mix things up and head to some familiar territory. They burst into a building and run into Tomo, ready to take on whatever comes next. Miyabi creates a diversion with her weapon, then gives Julie the signal to attack. Miyabi ignites her blaze and charges towards them. Julie tells Toru to watch her back as she takes on Tomo. Toru blocks Miyabi's attack, but she manages to push him back a bit before dropping her weapon and claiming exhaustion. He gives her props for a job well done and promises to step up his own practice. Meanwhile, Julia is holding her own against Tomo, expertly blocking attacks from all angles. She finally gains the upper hand, pointing her sword at Tomo's throat to signal her victory. Tomo and Miyabi exit the building and Julie and Toru are stoked to take on their next opponents, Tora and Tatsu. But before they can even get started, they hear a cry for help. Rushing to the scene, they find Tora and Tatsu lying on the ground. Before they can process it, they get jumped by their homeroom teacher, Rito. Tora warns Julie to watch out behind her and Rito attacks without hesitation. Julie and Toru barely dodge the attack, but Toru gets grazed in the process. When he sees the blood, he's shocked that a blaze could cause such damage. Rito explains that if you change your mindset, your blaze will change too. She then snatches Tora's weapon and destroys it, revealing that if your blaze is destroyed, your spirit will take a hit, leaving you out of commission for a whole day. Toru demands to know why she's doing all this, and Rito nonchalantly replies that it's her job to eliminate promising recruits. Rito lunges at Julie, sending her flying into a wall. Toru tries to intervene, but Rito takes him down with ease. Julie tries to save him, but Rito is about to finish her off when Toru blocks the attack with his shield. Rito taunts him, calling him a weakling, which triggers a painful memory from the dojo. Toru's anger boils over and he tries to land a punch, but Rito dodges it, saying he's too slow. The battle rages on, with Julie and Toru tearing through the rooms in their fight against Rito, but it's clear they're in over their heads. Rito is on her demon time, too strong and too fast. Just when they think they're done for, Rito shows up, ready to deliver the final blow. Toru blocks her attack and calls out to Julie, who launches herself at Rito without hesitation. Toru seizes the opportunity, sneaking up behind Julia to land a punch. Rito dodges just in time, but Toru's not aiming for her. He's going for her blaze. He manages to break it, and Rito lets out a blood-curdling scream. With Rito apprehended, Tatsu and Tora are left to recover in the hospital, focusing on healing their wounds. That night, Toru is haunted by a nightmare about the incident at the dojo. He wakes up with a start telling Julie he needs some fresh air. He heads out to the balcony where Julie follows him, asking about Otoha. Toru's irritation is palpable and he stalks back into the room. Julie, sensing his unease, takes off her shirt, revealing a scar on her back. "I'm just like you," she says, her eyes locked on his. "An Avenger!" The princess, Lilith Bristol, is stoked to meet the person who's just like her. Meanwhile, Toru is mortified about accidentally touching Julie's massive plots while he was half asleep. He apologizes profusely and Julie lets it slide. Later in class, Toru is shocked to see Tatsu and Tora already seated, looking like they are ready to take on the day. They're hoping to avoid Rito, but she walks in as if on cue. After the lessons, the gang follows her outside. Curious about her sudden return, Rito points behind them and they turn to see Sakuya the chair, waiting for them. She ushers them into her office, where she explains that Rito's actually an amazing teacher. Despite her questionable methods, she's managed to whip them into shape in no time. Sakuya sweetens the deal by offering them a spot in the ritual of sublimation, which will bump them up to level 2. Back in class, Rito's teaching away when Lilith Bristol, the princess, walks in and makes a beeline for Toru. Rito gives her the thumbs up and they step outside for a chat. Sarah joins them bearing tea. Lilith asks Toru to be her duo partner, revealing that she transferred from England just to see him and his meat. But Toru's not having it, citing he's already clapping someone else. He politely declines and walks away, leaving Lilith looking disappointed as she thought her thick build would work on him. The next day, Toru and Julie head to the mall to get her some new clothes. Toru mentions that Miyabi recommended a bunch of malls and Julia's all about it. As they walk around, Toru takes Julia's hand to make sure they don't get lost in the crowd. People can't help but stare at Julia's thick build, with some even whispering that she looks like a Barbie doll. Meanwhile, Tomo and Miyabi are lurking in the background, keeping an eye on the pair. After they're done shopping, they grab some food, feeding each other and laughing together. But things take a turn when Julie starts to get tipsy. Tomo and Miyabi are still watching from afar, wondering if Toru and Julie have been clapping each other. Just then, a group of guys starts harassing the girls, trying to get them to hang out. Toru jumps into action, standing in front of Julie and Miyabi, saying they're with him. But the guys don't back down until Lilith shows up out of nowhere, rifle blaze in hand, and takes them down. Toru's left, staring at her in awe as she disappears into thin air, realizing that her rifle blaze is the exception to the rule. Toru can't wait to tell his friends about the rifle blaze he saw Lilith use. Later, when they all advance to level 2, they're thrilled to show off their new powers. During a swimming session, Julie suddenly finds herself in trouble, unable to get out of the pool. Toru dives in to rescue her and she confesses that she doesn't know how to swim. Feeling bad for her, Toru offers to teach her how to swim later. As they're heading to class, Julie reminds Toru about his promise to teach her how to swim. But just as they're about to part ways, Toru suddenly ditches her to go talk to Lilith. He asks her why she never attends classes, and she reveals that she's already done with high school education and is just killing time at the academy. She then asks him to have plot with her and they end up at an amusement park. Rito is furious when she finds out that Toru skipped class, but Toru's too busy having fun with Lilith. At the park, Lilith is like a kid in a candy store, excited to try out all the games she never got to experience in England. Toru is getting exhausted, but Lilith drags him to a shooting game where they have to take down monsters. He's impressed by her skills and learns that she's a pro at handling guns thanks to her childhood hunting experiences. As the day winds down, they watch the fireworks together and Lilith asks Toru to be her duo partner again.
だから今一度言うわ。私のデュオとなりなさい。
After sneaking back into the hostel past curfew, he finds the door locked, but Julie saves the day by calling out to him from the balcony. He scrambles up to meet her and fills her in on his night out with Lilith, revealing that she asked him to be her duo partner, but he turned her down, saying he already has a partner who is super important to him. The next day, he gets in trouble for ditching class, and Rito drops a bombshell. They'll be having an inter-class battle with the second years, but this time it won't be in duos and they'll be up against some seriously tough opponents. Just then, Lilith strides into the battleground, issuing a challenge to all the second years on behalf of the first years. Sakuya is furious, still fuming about the dragon biter battle that Lilith destroyed. But Lilith tries to make it up to them by offering to organize a dance, which she calls a survival battle for everyone. At the survival battle, Toru and his friends are going head-to-head against Lilith, their toughest opponent yet. Despite their strategic plan, they still can't seem to land a hit on her. That is, until she takes down Tatsu and reveals her true identity, boasting that camouflage is her specialty during hunts.
おとりと伏兵の連携で私の回避先を誘導し
She then points her gun at Julie, who narrowly escapes by dodging out of the way. Toru seizes the opportunity to attack Lilith, but she blocks his move with her rifle, taunting him that he's being saved for the main course. Lilith takes a step back, making Toru think she's going to shoot from a distance, but in a swift move, she trips him, sending him crashing to the ground. As he falls, she uses his shoulder to boost herself up to the upper level of the mall. Julie gives chase, but Lilith blocks her and delivers a vicious kick to the stomach, sending her flying into the wall. Just as Julie starts to fall, Lilith takes aim and fires her rifle. Luckily, Tomo leaps into action, catching Julie mid-air and telling Toru they need to retreat. The group reunites, only to discover that Tomo has been hit.
撃たれていたのか。
大丈夫ですか、友え。
With several of them injured, they realize their chances of taking down Lilith are slim. After a quick strategy session, they get into position. As Julie confides in Toru about her unease, Lilith suddenly appears, gun in hand, declaring it's time for the final showdown. She takes aim and fires, but Toru blocks the shot with his shield. Julie seizes the moment to attack, and just as she does, Tora bursts onto the scene. Lilith takes him down with a shot, and he crashes to the floor. With Julie and Tora out of commission, Toru goes after Lilith, only to get shot himself. Toru tells his friends to focus on winning, not worrying about him. With a fierce determination, he punches the ground, forcing Lilith to jump out of the way. Miyabi seizes the opportunity, attacking Lilith from behind, but she dodges just in time. Tora and Julie charge at her next, but they are quickly taken down by her gunfire. Lilith lands in front of Julie, taunting Toru, thinking she's outsmarted them. But Julie suddenly springs back to life, launching a surprise attack on Lilith.
これでチェックメイトです。
In the chaos, Lilith drops her rifle and Toru reminds her of her own lies, exposing her deceit. However, Lilith refuses to give up, gearing up for another round against Toru. Just as the fight is about to resume, they get jumped by 3 guys who kidnap Lilith. Toru vows to get her back and he goes full demon mode. He blocks their path as they try to drag Lilith up the stairs, and with a powerful punch, he breaks the stairs, grabbing Lilith's hand just in time. One of the kidnappers raises his gun, ready to take them out, but Lilith quickly turns the tables, using her rifle with Toru's help to take down the attacker. Back in the mall, the two are more than ready to pick up where they left off. The aftermath of the battle lands Toru in the hospital, but he gets a surprise visit from Lilith, who thanks him for saving her life. Toru and his friends are stunned, but they're also relieved that the fight is finally over. The students are on a ship headed to a training camp on a remote island, but Rito, being a psycho, has other plans. He drops them into the ocean, forcing them to swim to the island in their uniforms. Toru carries Julie on his back since she can't swim, and they make their way to shore. Just as they're drying off, Lilith drops in from her helicopter, ready to join the party. As they head towards the training camp, daggers start flying their way. They dodge and weave, realizing they're not alone in the forest. Ninjas are lurking in the shadows. Tomo and Miyabi are facing their own ninja troubles. Miyabi gets trapped and Tomo takes a beating. Meanwhile, Lilith and Julie team up to take down the ninjas separated from Toru. Miyabi finds her inner strength and breaks free from her trap, charging at the ninjas surrounding Tomo with her weapon. Lilith wishes they had more space to maneuver, so she tells tells Julie to jump and they both leap into action. Julie unleashes her blaze, cutting down the trees around them, and Lilith lands, taking out the ninjas with her rifle. Toru, meanwhile, blocks a falling tree and takes down a female ninja who tries to attack him. Just as he's about to deliver the final blow, he realizes it's Imari, a baddie he met during the entrance exam. It turns out the students who failed the entrance exam were given a second chance at the branch school. Later, as the dust settles, Miyabi comes to a surprising realization. Her feelings for Toru go beyond friendship and she just wants to get clapped by him. After a grueling training session, Rito gives the students a welcome surprise, a day off. The next day, Toru and the girls decide to make the most of it, while Tora snoozes the day away and Tatsu pays homage to his beloved muscle god. The gang heads to the beach, where they spend the day swimming, playing ball, and soaking up the sun. Toru gets a little too enthusiastic and accidentally strips Tomo of her bikini, prompting a hasty apology. Later, Julie goes for a solo swim and returns without a bikini top, exposing her massive plots. Prompting Toru then joins her in the water to retrieve it. Meanwhile, Imari and Tomo notice that Miyabi's been feeling down, so Imari comes up with a plan to lift her spirits. Toru, on the other hand, stumbles upon a hidden hot spring and decides to enjoy some solo relaxation time. That is, until he overhears the girls chatting behind the hot spring, discussing their plot sizes, and freaks out. Toru decides to take a solo dip in the hot spring, while the others are busy getting cozy with each other. Meanwhile, Imari gives Miyabi some words of encouragement, telling her to be strong and go for what she wants. As they head back to camp, Miyabi takes a tumble and twists her ankle. Imari suggests that Toru give her a piggyback ride and the others go ahead to camp while they lag behind. After a while, Miyabi asks Toru to put her down and they continue their stroll along the beach. As they walk, Miyabi suddenly stops and confesses her feelings to Toru, telling him how much she loves him and how badly she wants to see his meat. Toru is taken aback, but just as he's about to agree to go out with her, he's hit with a flashback to the dojo incident. Only this time, it's Miyabi who dies in his arms. Meanwhile, Lilith and Sakuya are in a meeting discussing who knows what. Toru, still reeling from the flashback, tells Miyabi he can't go out with her and she takes off, leaving him standing alone on the beach. The Libers launch a surprise attack on both the branch and main academy, catching the students off guard. While the students are busy fighting for their lives, Lilith takes cover in the building, protecting Sakuya from harm. Just as things are getting intense, Toru bursts out of the bushes and punches a Liber in the face. Meanwhile, Sakuya gives Rito a special injection, allowing her to go full demon mode. Rito takes the fight outside, taking down Libers left and right. The leader of the Libers orders his minions to take her out, but Rito is on her demon time, leaving Toru wondering if she was holding back during their previous fight. Sarah informs Sakuya that the Libers attacking the main branch have been wiped out by a single person, but before they can catch their breath, the blonde boy who tried to kidnap Lilith earlier bursts into the office with his goons, guns blazing. Lilith leaps into action, shielding Sakuya and Sarah from the hail of bullets. Outside, an explosion rocks the area. Julie and Toru rush to the office to find Lilith lying on the ground, badly hurt. With her last breath, she tells them to protect Sakuya, who's been kidnapped. Without hesitation, Julie and Toru give chase, jumping onto the kidnapper's ship just as it's about to take off. Julie and Toru team up to take down the leader of the Libers. They launch a joint attack, with Toru landing a solid punch. Just as they're about to search for Sakuya, the leader reappears, unscathed. He sheds his outer armor, revealing a sleeker, more menacing suit underneath. The battle resumes with Julie and Toru fighting in perfect sync. But the leader is relentless, throwing a knife at Julie that Toru barely blocks. Toru retaliates, only to get stabbed in the leg. Julie falls to the ground, unconscious. The leader takes advantage of the situation, throwing another knife at Julie, which Toru catches with his hand. But the leader doesn't let up, stabbing Toru in the shoulder again. As the leader continues to pummel Toru, Julie's memories of her father's death come flooding back. Consumed by rage, she goes Super Saiyan. She unleashes a flurry of attacks on the leader, but Toru intervenes, intervenes, stopping her from going too far. Just as she's about to strike again, she collapses from exhaustion. The leader receives a call ordering him to retreat since they've achieved their goal. He beats a hasty retreat, leaving Julie and Toru to recover. Meanwhile, Sakuya returns to the camp and Lilith receives a mysterious call. Later, Julie and Toru find themselves back at the beach, where Julie opens up to Toru about her father's tragic death. The students head back to the academy, still reeling from their recent battles. Toru's mind is elsewhere though, and he ends up losing a fight to Tomo because he's not focused. Tomo, meanwhile, is struggling with her own emotions, missing her partner and crying in the bathroom.
ありがとう、ともえちゃん。
Toru, on the other hand, is haunted by nightmares, and he wakes up to another one. The next day, he gets summoned to Sakuya's office, where she surprises him with an offer to advance to level 4 as a thank you for saving her life. Toru is quick to correct her though, pointing out that it was a team effort. Sakuya then drops a bombshell. The Reen conference is coming to their campus and the founder of Liber will be attending. Toru's curiosity is piqued and he wonders what this conference is all about. Sakuya fills him in and he can't help but feel a sense of unease. The next day, the students are ordered to stay indoors while the faculty patrols the grounds. Sakuya and the other chairs gather in the conference room, waiting for the founder of Liber to arrive. When he finally shows up, they dive into the meeting, discussing the mysterious topic at hand. Meanwhile, Julie and Toru sneak out to find Lilith, who's lurking outside. Toru asks her to spill the beans about the Rain Conference and what the founder's ultimate goal is. Lilith fills them in, revealing that the founder's obsession is the absolute duo.
あの子はそれをたった一人でやろうとしてる。
Back in the meeting room, Sakuya flat out refuses to join forces with the founder of Liber. In response, he threatens to unleash his Libers on the academy, turning it into a deadly game. The guards are alerted, and before long, the Libers arrive on the scene. But the biggest shock comes when Miyabi walks out of the shadows, standing alongside the Libers. She transforms into a battle-ready state, donning a sleek suit of armor. The founder of Liber smirks, telling the others in the meeting room to sit back and enjoy the show as his Libers take over the killing game. Tomo rushes to Miyabi's side, trying to calm her down as she readies her weapon to take on Toru. Tomo vows to protect her, but Miyabi turns on her, striking her and causing her to bleed. Lilith suggests that Miyabi might have been brainwashed, but Kei drops a bombshell. Miyabi wanted the power for herself, all because of some guy. Toru's anger boils over and he lunges at Kei, but Miyabi blocks him, turning her attention to attacking him instead. Just as she's about to land a devastating blow, the others jump in to block her attack. But Miyabi shrugs them off, insisting that she only needs Toru. She reminds him of their conversation on the beach, where he told her she was weak. Now she's out to prove him wrong, and she unleashes a flurry of attacks to show off her newfound strength. As the battle rages on, Kei slips away, muttering that he's off to take care of Sakuya. Tomo gives the team a plan. While she handles Miyabi, they need to go rescue Sakuya. Kei, Lilith, and Tora take on the Libers, while Toru and Julie go after Kei. Meanwhile, Tomo tries to reach Miyabi, but gets attacked in the process. Toru and Julie start battling Kei, but just as Miyabi is about to join the fight, Tomo stops her in her tracks. With some tough love, Tomo asks if she's managed to get clapped by Toru, but Miyabi admits he gave her an L. Tomo tries to talk some sense into Miyabi and delivers the iconic anime slap, snapping her back into reality. Kei realizes he's lost his mind control over her. In a fit of rage, Kei throws explosives at Julie, knocking her out cold. The Libers show up, firing away at Julie, but Toru leaps into action, determined to protect her. Just in time, Tora and Lilith take down the Libers, and Toru uses the injection Sakuya gave her to get a boost. Kei attacks Toru, but she's ready for him. Using her powers, she blocks his attack with a shield and then lands a solid punch. The founder of Liber is left stunned, unable to believe that his plans were foiled by a doll. As they stroll back to the hostels, feeling like they have finally won, they're confronted by Kei, who's waiting for them. Tora and Lilith jump into action, but Kei is too powerful. He destroys their weapons and takes down Lilith with ease. With his destructive powers raging out of control, Kei starts taking down the others one by one. They try to fight back, but they're no match for him. The sight of the academy, where they've shared so many laughs and training sessions, seems to enrage him, and he starts leveling the buildings. In a shocking move, Kei tries to blow up the hostel with students still inside, but Rito appears out of nowhere and blocks the attack. She tells Toru to take care of Kei, and the two of them engage in an intense battle. Julie joins the fight but gets stabbed in the shoulder and crashes to the ground. As Toru rushes to her side, Kei starts firing at them. Toru uses his shield to protect Julie, but in the chaos, he gets stabbed too. Julie's beast mode is triggered when she sees Toru go down and she loses control to her dark powers. She lunges at Kei, sending him running for his life. Toru manages to stop Julie from finishing Kei off by taking another stab wound himself, all while reassuring her that he's still alive.
そうだよ。
Kei's fury reaches new heights as he sees the strong bond between Toru and Julie. He launches another attack, but they're ready for him. With Julie's help, Toru activates his shield and together they overpower Kei. But Kei refuses to give up and he comes at them again. This time, Julie suggests that Toru use her sword to take him down. Toru grabs the sword and strikes Kei with a powerful blow, sending him crashing to the ground. Later in the hospital, Toru makes Miyabi and the others promise to always be friends, and they happily agree. After recovering from his injuries, Toru meets up with Lilith, who fills him in on some intel about Kei. As soon as he hears that Julia is on the mend, he rushes to the hostel to see her. When he arrives, Julia opens up to him about her struggles with controlling her dark powers, but Toru is quick to reassure her that they're in this together and that they'll always be duo partners no matter what.